pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Cook,
Present.
Schultz, McIntyre.
Here.
We have a quorum. Are there any agenda deletions? Seeing none, our first item on the agenda today is the consent agenda. A, claims. I have a number of $275,107.14 with 0 fringes. B, minutes to approve, regular meeting 8/18/20, special meeting 8/18/20. C, approve removal from payroll Rebecca Biggerstaff, part-time collections assistant, county attorney, effective 8/24/20. D, approve wage increase Tessa Baskerville, HR director, board of supervisors, effective 8/18/20. E, approve abatement of property taxes pursuant to Iowa Code 427.1 on parcel number 27000250228 in the amount of $206. F, approve abatement of mobile home taxes pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 435.25 on number 1, VIN number R3555678 AB in the amount of $890 plus all accrued interest. Number 2, VIN number FS213300 in the amount of $1,041 plus all accrued interest. 3, VIN number 29A20787 in the amount of $107 plus all accrued interest. 4, VIN number 98A17706 in the amount of $150 plus all accrued interest. 5, VIN number 64127378 in the amount of $116 plus all accrued interest. 6, VIN number 10845 in the amount of $124 plus all accrued interest. 7, VIN number MII7004 in the amount of $148 plus all accrued interest. Number 8, VIN number NSH3394MO in the amount of $144 plus all accrued interest. And number 9, VIN number 2C2576C2807 in the amount of $150 plus all accrued interest. G, approve abatement of taxes pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 445.16 on 1, parcel number 21000351640 in the amount of $202, and 2, parcel number 31000271660 in the amount of $155. H, set public hearing for October 6, 2020 at 9:40 a.m. for sale of county-owned property, parcel number 29000102249. I, approve hire Jeffrey Gibson, right-of-way foreman, secondary roads, effective September 14, 2020. J, approve wage increase Becky Sagi, iSmile coordinator. Sorry for butchering your name there, Becky. iSmile coordinator, health services, effective September 1, 2020. K, approve 5-day Class C liquor license application for Your Private Bartender. And L, approve hire Sunday Smith, Director of Victim Services, County Attorney, effective August 31st, 2020.
This is Doug. I would move the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Cook,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Motion passes. Number 2 is a public hearing starting at 9:35. I have 9:35. Public hearing regarding, oh, go ahead, regarding silent auction.
I would move we go to a public hearing regarding silent auction of 1963 mobile home.
Second.
Motion and a second.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. We are now in public hearing.
The county was approached about a mobile home that's located in, the mobile home park south of 92. The nearest intersection is South D Street and West Second Avenue, which is also Highway 92. We decided the best way to handle this is by the code, the code of Iowa, which means we have to put the property up for bid. This is simply a mobile home, that no one lives in anymore, and the county owns it, so we have to do a process to, let somebody else purchase the mobile home. And we've had one bid come in, and I'm going to open that bid now. The bid is from Spencer Property Management, which also owns the mobile home park, and they have bid $100. That is the only bid we have received. The rules are that the property goes to the person with the highest bid. And the board will have to do a motion and have a resolution for that, should they choose to accept that bid.
Okay, thank you, Don. Do we have?
There's a proposed resolution in your packet.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I would move that we go back to regular session. Isn't that how we have to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anyone from the public?
Second. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. All right. Yeah, we have a motion and a second to leave public hearing.
DeCook.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Okay, we are out of public hearing. And do we have a motion regarding the property?
I would move that we accept the $100 for the sale of the 1963 mobile home.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
DeCook.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 3, with a 9:40 start time, I have 9:38. It's another public hearing, so we will skip that one. We will skip number 4. Not going to go into closed session now. Let's go to number 6. Consider request from Historic Preservation Commission with possible action. And who is?
Alfonso, is he on there?
He is.
Okay, yeah, I should have checked to make sure of that first, but, all right, so is he presenting?
Yeah, Alfonso's presenting, is he on?
Yep.
Alfonso?
In fairness, if he's not ready, we can come back to that too, since we had to skip ahead.
Alfonso, are you ready to present to the board?
I am.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
They're ready for you.
Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Okay. Well, I sent the grant application as a new CLG government, that's the Warren County Historic Preservation Commission, and the state suggested we should ask for a grant, which it would be the first step to be efficient as a commission. And the state of Iowa pays 60% of the total of the cost. We request submissions of preliminary cost of the study, and 6 consultants came back to us and they gave a price that the average price I did the budget based on $18,000. So out of that, we had as expenses as 26,000 and as low as 15. So we kind of average up, and based on qualifications, we came with a number of 18,000. And this is a number we came with the help of Paula Moore from the state of Iowa. So the way the grant request works, the state pays 60% and the county comes up with a 40% difference. So the documentation that I provided to the supervisors kind of has a breakdown on its page number 10, and the number we are actually requesting to be approved is $4,500. For that, there is going to be in-kind match from the board itself, valued at $2,700, which is volunteer hours, and they're valued at around $24 per hour for 120 hours. And I just wanted to see if we will be able to get approved to get this money and move forward with this. It will be incredibly important for us as a commission to have the monies.
Alphonse, this is Megan. We had emailed, and I had sent you that budget breakdown. What the board had budgeted for historic preservation for fiscal year 21 was $3,500 for a restoration project and $300 for office supplies for a total of $3,800. You have issued expenses or have pending expenses in the amount of $682.13, which would leave $3,117.87 remaining. From the documentation you sent and when we corresponded, $4,500 was your asking match from the county. If we subtract what's already been budgeted, that leaves an additional amount that you wanted from the county of about $1,400. But that doesn't sound the same as what you just were speaking there. So is it $4,500 that you're wanting from the county total?
That is exactly the correct amount. Unfortunately, due to the budgets, and I'm kind of new with the commission as well, and Lindsay can explain with the COVID and all, we totally missed up our opportunity to withhold some of the money we have from the year that ended in June. And a lot of that money didn't get used, so I was kind of thinking that the money can be relocated because of no use, but then you informed me that when you don't use the money gets lost. So I just wanted.
Well, it doesn't get lost. It's just it doesn't roll over. You don't have a designated fund with which the county continually puts money into a fund for historic preservation. There is a budget annually for historic preservation, but what you're asking for exceeds what the board requested, or what the board put into your budget. So you're requesting some additional funding to come from, and it's from the rural basic fund that comes from supervisors. But it appears to me it's about $1,400 additional, because you
That's
do
right.
already have dollars budgeted for historic preservation. But then, Alphonse, that does mean that you won't have any other money available for anything else.
I'm well aware of that.
Okay,
And that's the reason why I just wanted to make sure within the board we kind of figured out we can contribute as the volunteer hours of $2,700. So we're kind of trying to do, the best what we have here. And I think for as far as we've gotten already as a board, I think it will be really important for us to get this grant going. And this grant is due in 2 days with the state. And that's why I wanted to present to you.
So the ask is,
Doug,
yes, sir.
do you understand is $2,700 for in-kind?
That's above and beyond the 4,500.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had a number of 4,500. I heard
Yes.
Alphonse say,
So-
and then $2,700 for
On top of that,
in-kind.
yeah, that they're doing as in-kind hours, but the 4,500 is
I
the cash
understand.
amount they want from us, but we already have part of that budgeted, so really it's an additional 1,400 that they're requesting from the board at this time. is how I understand the
And-
breakdown.
Now, you understand the in-kind, cause I'm not sure I do, but I'm okay.
That's on the grant side of it. The cash piece of it is,
Doug, what it means is the state qualifies volunteer hours from commission members as well as public. We tally those hours and we calculated around 120 hours of volunteer time that the state recognized that as money as well, as cash, even though there is no cash coming out of anybody's pocket. And it's established around $24.03 per hour.
Got that?
So that's kind of, and I was trying to figure it out because I know now that we don't have this rollover of the monies we didn't use. In technicality, if you guys approve this money, we're going to have the extra money, but it was correct me if I'm wrong, Megan, how much is the money we spent from last year that it went away?
without looking it up, I don't know off the top of my head, Alphonse, how much was budgeted for you. I assume about the
It
same
was
amount.
3,000 was
3,000.
budgeted, and I
Yeah.
think they only spent right around 500, because they had conferences scheduled and stuff, and it was like in May and June.
Sure.
And then everything got canceled, so then
Sure.
they didn't have enough
Yeah.
to spend what they had, so, yeah.
So all the money basically didn't get spent. So what I'm trying to say here is it's kind of reallocation of monies in a way, kind of psychologically, you guys are not putting any more money into the commission as it sounds. It's kind of course, approving for the budget of the 2020 budget is where, and Lindsay, help me here, kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I explained that a lot of the money you had reserved to use was towards the end of the year, the fiscal year, and that was when COVID, obviously your conferences and stuff that you had scheduled had gotten canceled. And so then you didn't have time to spend that money in June and obviously the fiscal year ended and it rolled over. And, you didn't use the funds from the fiscal year, but you essentially that doesn't roll over into the start of the new year. So, you are essentially asking for $1,400 more for this match for this grant is what you're asking for from the board.
I feel like
Lindsay, how much, do you know how much they had left from
$2,500
Yeah,
approximately.
approximately 2,500. Yeah.
So
I got you.
So I'm gonna move this along a little bit. Here's my take. It was unfortunate that the commission didn't utilize those funds, but I understand why they didn't. I also don't ever encourage any of our departments or any of our groups to use funds just for the sake of using funds for fear of use it or lose it. I think that's a poor way to govern, and it results in people wasting money, and I prefer not to see that. In this situation, it looks to me like COVID did a number on some of the future spend at the end of last fiscal year up until the budget time. I'm not really inclined to provide the $4,500 request, considering that it looks like their 21 budget is $3,800. What I am inclined to do is to take the approximate $3,000 that they were given last year, less the $500 that they spent, and do an additional $2,500 true up. Yes, technically we could get by with $1,400 and they could fulfill their grant obligation, but that really leaves nothing for them to operate with, and we're very early in the fiscal year, and so if they don't use it this year, it'll come back. So my motion would be for $2,500.
And I'm gonna consider that to be a motion, and I would second it.
There you go. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Supervisor McIntyre or Scholl?
None here.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it.
DeCook,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Motion carries.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, we're gonna go back to item number 3, public hearing regarding rezoning application submitted by Land Concepts LLC, 12119 Stratfor Drive, Clive, Iowa, 50325 for certain lands within Warren County from A1 Agricultural District and FPC Floodplain and Conservation District to RR1 Rural Residential District with possible action.
Okay.
I
Land,
would move that we go to a public hearing for the application submitted by Land Concepts LLC.
Second.
Motion and a second.
DeCook,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
McIntyre,
Aye.
All right, we're now in public hearing.
okay. Land Concepts LLC is looking to purchase land owned by John and Janice Gideon to rezone to RR1 to subdivide and plat into large single-family lots. Will the proposed district be a benefit to the general public? When on the line is the location of the proposed district in accordance with the land use plan and policies. No. Calls for A1. Could the proposed district be considered spot zoning? Yes, however, there's Spring Hills across the street, and there's lots of residential zoning with, or residential housing in the area. It's old ag subdivisions is why, they were done prior to 1980. Will the proposed district maintain or protect property values of adjacent landowners? When on the line, at that point, we hadn't seen a proposed drawing, so we weren't sure, but we have seen the proposed concept plan, and no, I would say it's fine. Is the time schedule or proposed development considered within the proposed district reasonable? Yes. Does the proposed district correspond to the area of proposed development? When on the line, but it was right across from the town of Spring Hill, A1 zone subdivisions all around. Will the proposed district be in accord with the intent, spirit, land use plan and zoning ordinance? Land use calls for A1, and it does, RR1 falls within our zoning ordinance, so I said no. Will the proposed district be located at least a quarter mile from existing feedlots or poultry, housing more than 500 head of livestock, or if that 5,000 fowl? Yes. Does the CSR corn suitability reading, at least 75% of that property have a CSR rating of 55 or less? That was updated on 8/26 to say no. We had looked at the wrong map. So yes, I had said yes before, but it is no. It's about 64%, it appears. But I provided all the CSR stuff from the assessor's office to you. Is the proposed district or any part of it located within an area subject to flooding? No, not what they're proposing to rezone. Will the development within the proposed district be outside of area subject to flooding? Not applicable. Does the proposed district include heavily timbered areas? Yeah, there's quite a few trees on there. And will the development within the proposed district minimize loss of woodlands or timber? I said unknown at the time, but yeah, they're gonna try to keep as many trees and keep it as, rural as they can. Will the proposed source of wastewater supply and wastewater treatment and water supply meet the requirements of Warren County Board of Health? Yes, they've met with environmental health, and each lot will have its own system. Will telephone, gas, or electric service be available to serve the proposed district? Yes. They'll work with each of the service providers. Will this existing roads and bridges providing access to the proposed district be adequate to serve the proposed development in accordance with the requirements and standards of the Warren County engineer? Yes. Classroom capacity and school bus service to the proposed district adequate to serve the development? Yes. Will the existing and or proposed parks in the vicinity or the proposed district be adequate to serve the area? Yes. Will the development within the proposed district minimize soil erosion, dust, and surface water runoff during and after construction in accordance with the requirements and standards of the Warren County engineer? That would be yes. At that time, we didn't have plans, but and final plans for that are worked out in preliminary and final plat stages. This is just the rezoning request. Is the proposed district located outside of approach zones? That's not, to airports and landing strips, that's not applicable. Will the proposed development within the proposed district minimize noise levels during and after construction so as not to create a nuisance to adjacent property owners? Yes. Is the proposed district within an urban expansion area as shown on the land use plan? Yes. It's within Spring Hills, and we talked to Spring Hill and never let them know, and we emailed the concept plan, and we never did hear anything back from Spring Hill. This land is A1 and FPC zoned. No FEMA floodplain is on it. FPC does stand for floodplain and conservation, so meaning heavily timbered areas. On the land to be rezoned, they want to rezone and present a subdivision plat with larger residential lots. Recommend hearing all sides, weighing the information development is off of a paved highway. At this time, we really have no idea how many lots they were proposing or what their concept plan was. I've updated this. We had received their concept plan prior to the zoning commission on 8/11/2020, and CSR has since been updated and information included in the BO Board of Supervisors packets. So the zoning commission recommended 4-0 to recommend approval of the rezoning request to you as a board. We did receive correspondence, and I sent all that to you in your packets, I think, and then you received something from the Carney Law Appleby law firm as well. So I sent everything to you that we've received in correspondence, and I think we do have a couple neighbors here, and then I think you should have Brad Cooper on the line as well. He's here to present for land concepts. Do you have Brad Cooper on there?
I have a Brad's iPhone. Is
Yeah, I
that
think-
Brad Cooper?
I think that's Brad.
Yeah, you hear me?
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, Brad Cooper here with Cooper Crawford and Associates. Live in Norwalk, our businesses in West Des Moines. I'm here representing Land Concepts on this rezoning. It's a beautiful piece of ground. Our intent is to put in basically somewhere in the neighborhood of 17 to 19 executive style lots. All of them will range in size from just over 2 acres to over 6 acres. We'd like to have a paved private street in this area. I spoke with Environmental Health Services. They're fine with everything. Each lot will have to have its own soil survey and perk test. I've spoken with Warren Rural Water. They've done a preliminary design for it, and they have the capacity to handle this development. Spoken with Mid-American Energy. They've got gas and water in that, gas and electric, in that area, and they will be extending that into this development as well if approved. Lindsay does a great job of explaining everything. The tree situation, we are going to limit the amount of trees being affected as much as possible with our initial development. Once sold, the landowners can do whatever they want with their lot, but our intention is just to kind of follow the ridge line. It's a beautiful piece of ground high up on the hill there, and just have nice lots that basically all have a nice walkout with beautiful view. There is some floodplain on the south side of this property. We're not going to be getting into that area. That will remain agricultural. Other than that, I think we look forward to this project if approved, and I'm here for any questions you have.
I don't personally have any at this time, but questions might arise. I think there's some other members online and some other people to speak on it, so we might circle back to you if that's fine.
That was good. I'll be here.
Okay. We are in a public meeting, so is there anyone from the public, either via Zoom or here personally, who would like to speak on this matter? Yeah, please state your name and who you're with.
Thank you. My name is Scott Hall. I'm an attorney with Carney and Appleby Law Firm in Des Moines, Iowa. I live in Adel, do real estate work all over the state, but mainly here in central Iowa. I represent John and Kathy Mayer for the purposes of this issue. They reside on parcel number 0500005980. That is a homestead and about 5 acres, I think, that directly abuts up to this land, this good corn crop agricultural land. They set up their rural homestead there for the purpose of living in the country, and they have retained me to just basically object to this rezoning application. They went to the zoning commission meeting on August 11th to raise their concerns, and since it got passed through and voted for approval, that's why I'm here today. Our main issues are just with the zoning county with ordinances. I appreciate you going through all of the issues. The ones I highlighted in my letter, hopefully you received that. I'm sorry it only got out yesterday. I have copies if anybody needs a copy, but the main objections we have is the corn suitability rating, which we believe is between 60 and 75 on a basis for the majority of the land, so it doesn't meet that requirement. We do think that there is some flooding possibility. I know they say they're not gonna develop those flood grounds, but also we'd hate to lose the timber that is already there, and is, the neighbors like to have the trees. But I think the main concern from a county standpoint is that CSR rating and potential liability. It's our understanding there's coal mines underneath this property. It just may not be suitable for all of those 17 to 19 executive homes. And of course, my client's house overlooks this property, so it's important to them for views, but also they just want to make sure that the county zoning ordinances are followed and what's best for the public is conducted. Is there anything else you guys want to add? Anything you want to say?
No, I don't think so at this time. It's just mostly we want to make sure that the regulations that are printed out there are followed, and that our concerns are brought forward, and that we do have some concerns about this. My name is John Mayer. We do have some concerns about the fact that the area is called Spring Hills because there's a lot of springs in the area. It's a very wet area, and the way if they're going to build in there, they're going to have to tile that off. And I don't hear anybody saying anything about who's talked to the DNR on they're right on top of the river, and where's all this runoff going to go? I mean, they're going to have to push it into the river. I don't know where they're going to, unless they're going to build a holding pond, and that would also not be pleasant. But we're not hearing anybody's saying anything about the DNR, and I would think with the mines and the way water finds its least resistance after all these years, there's got to be, the ground has got to be draining into the coal mines and into the river, and have a lot of concerns over contaminating the river through the housing development of this size that close. There was I'm here kind of somewhat representing the neighbors. They asked me to speak for them, and there were some other things that we brought up during the zoning meeting, which doesn't have to do with zoning, but there's some safety issues also that we see in this. And of course, we don't have the latest plans, but that piece of road runs really fast. It doesn't. There's a speed restriction down to 45 miles an hour through there as you go through Spring Hill, which is not observed, and there's a lot of heavy truck traffic on there. The county redirects a lot of traffic up and down R57. There's a lot of heavy truck traffic, and now we're going to ask them for youngsters to be entering traffic right there at that same intersection of Spring Hill. We also we don't see anything for them to upload and download children getting on and off school buses. The school bus can't drive in there; it's a private road. They tried to get to the county didn't want it, and we're hoping that this goes on, that they develop some kind of a bus turnaround there where the buses can come and go safely. But these are just some of the concerns. We just want to make sure that everything's T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and my personal opinion is it's with the the CSR rating that doesn't meet the eligibility for rezoning, so.
Can I ask you a question? And do you,
Yes, sir.
you live in Spring Hill, correct?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm adjacent,
near Spring Hill.
I am, east of I would be on the east edge of the property of Luther.
Sure. So it's got,
It's right there. I think Spring Hill's down there.
okay. So you're the 50599 or 90?
Yep,
How many?
59890
I got you.
is the end of it.
I got you.
I am trying to work out with my neighbor on procuring some more acreage.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public or online who would like to speak?
Yes,
Please state your name and your address.
Gregory Hoyt, Hoyt. This whole mess has really got us bogged down. I have your street off of R57 ends at my property line. From then on, east and south, it's your trail, but it's my property. I have, since this whole thing came out, and they're trying to sell the place, or, I'm trying to, I wanna get the right word. Anyway, I had to call the sheriff last week. People use my road down across my property at their will. I have signs up that says no trespassing. To look at Gideon's land. But can you imagine if somebody drove in your driveway and past your garage and went to your backyard? Sure you would. Damn right you would. Well, that's the problem I'm having. It's disrupting our lives. It's putting us in danger. If something happens when they're back there surveying this place on our property, they get hurt, one of the kids gets run over, whatever, I'm liable, as far as I know. And it ain't gonna get any better.
Is there no other access to the property? I mean, it looks, Gear Street's is a county road, so is there?
Your street's a county road,
So
it
there's-
stops at my property line.
They're coming in off R57. They'll have cul-de-sacs off R57 for the development. They're
Okay.
not gonna access off here.
Okay,
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
There's two accesses to this place now that they chiseled out down by where the old railroad track used to be. And one about halfway up the hill, north of there. But we're still getting bombarded by trespassers. I actually called the sheriff last week.
He's right here, right?
Yeah, he came out,
How are they going through this stuff? Why don't they just go on Gear?
talked to the surveyors, but it didn't seem to do any good.
Okay.
So what am I supposed to do?
Well, your own individual property is certainly your own. You don't, I wouldn't tolerate trespassing on my property either. It does appear to me though that people can access this thing, from, without trespassing through ground that you individually own.
Yes, so why?
And they should, and so I would encourage you to make phone calls and let them know, or let the sheriff know.
Yeah,
We have.
sheriff's already been out there once.
Okay.
How many times do I have to put up with this crap? I want you guys to do the right thing. We don't want it. It's invading our privacy.
Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address is the same, I assume, but your name, please?
It's the same
Okay.
address.
Mrs.
My name is Mona Sue Hoyt, Hoyt, and, I live where he lives. And, I heard you talking about the wild animals. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I'm not used to speaking in front of people like this. And I don't know if they're in your yard or where you live or anything, but you seem to really love watching the animals. Well, we used to live where they lived, and, I used to look out my kitchen window and see like 30 turkeys. I'm not kidding. 30 turkeys. And the things I saw them do is just the funniest thing. They didn't like one turkey, so the rooster kept running him off in the woods. I mean, you know, I watched that. Deers everywhere, just everywhere. In fact, when it really snowed, they didn't have anything to eat. They stayed right in our front yard because there was a clearing for some reason, and they would look right in the window at us and watch us. That's what we used to see. And turkeys. I mean, the turkeys. A goose in my front yard was just walking through with her little babies, and in line right behind her. And one went in the bean field. She stopped right there, went back, told all the rest of them to stay right there, and she went in the bean field and got the run, and then went on into the woods. I've seen so many things. What's going to happen to these animals?
It's gonna be gone.
Yes, they're going to be gone.
You disrupted several lives.
And I know you love that because I watched you say that. And
I like animals.
talked to Gideon about the people coming on our property. We built that road. It wasn't there before we moved there. We built it. It's our road. And
Are you talking about Gear Street? I'm not sure which road you're talking
Gear
about.
Trail.
Gear Trail. Okay.
We
I
built
gotcha.
the road.
I gotcha.
And I talked to Gideon about it, people looking at his property. I talked to him about it to tell them to go over to his place and look. And he says, I don't care. And that's what he said. And I said, well, Gideon, we have to maintain the road. We gravel the road. We take care of the road. I don't care. And that's the only answer I got from him.
So Gear Trail's a private road, correct? Or is it a county road?
Your trail would be a trail.
It wasn't there before we
Got it.
moved there. We made the road to go back to where they lived.
I gotcha. Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this? Seeing none, I have a couple questions for the attorney online. Is it Mr.
Brad.
Brad Hooper? What's his last name again?
Is it Brad?
Yeah, and I don't think he's an attorney. I
Oh,
think he's
sorry.
Brad?
Brad, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, or for Lindsay, I wanna tackle a couple of things that Mr. Hull mentioned. One, the corn suitability rating. It looks to me like on the application it changed some. But
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about how we handle corn suitability rating, in decisions like this, and what's the actual number on the parcel?
Well, under the criteria for establishing RR1 in the zoning ordinance, it says, subject to the provisions of section 4310 of the zoning ordinance, the Board of Supervisors shall evaluate all requests for a zoning change to RR1 districts in accordance with, but not limited to, the following criteria. So you shall evaluate that at least 75% of the property included in the proposed district has a corn suitability rating of 55 or less. So you just need to evaluate whether it has a CSR of 55 or less.
And what was the number that they came
So,
up with? And when they calculate the number, I mean, I'm looking at a lot of timber down here. Like, do they average that in, or are they just looking at the tillable acres, the corn suitability rating on the tillable acres, or are they doing a blended average over all of it?
so like when the assessor prints their stuff for me, like this, the net taxable was 3301, but like their gross taxable here on this one parcel is 74.77. So like that bigger parcel, that ends in
4-3.
843,
Yeah.
that's got a 74.77.
Okay.
And when I first did it, I did it at home and was going through Beacon, which I'd never used the Beacon thing, so I was looking at the wrong thing. So, so I usually use the GIS. Number 8, the one that ends in 863 has a 65. And then parcel 8.
And then, just for my benefit, because I don't know, I didn't grow up on a farm.
The
and I'm
lower-
learning. Are they just looking at the tillable acres and saying the tillable acres are 64 for that second parcel? Because they're not, I mean, no one's checking the timber to see.
No.
It's not suitable for corn at all.
No.
And then do they do a blended average, or they're just looking at the CSR on tillable only? I assume. They have to, because no one's gonna check the other stuff.
Well, that's what I would assume.
Okay.
And the lower, obviously, the lower the CSR, the worse it is for farming. So, and I know, you know, I haven't been in this position for 22 years, but I've been in the zoning office for that long, and I know that the CSR, that's always been a question, but it's never been anything that's been a make or break on a rezoning application.
Seems
It's
like
always
shall
just
evaluate
been
means
evaluated.
shall look at, not
And
determine.
been a look at, but,
Okay.
yeah.
Brad, question on the environmental study. There seemed like there was some concerns about potential coal mines. I know that you mentioned something about flooding on the south side, or it looks like it gets wet down there, and you indicated that that's not exactly where the homes or executive homes or whatever would be developed, but can you talk about the environmental study and potential flooding issues?
In terms of the environmental study, I just spoke with the office there in Warren County and discussed the plat with her, and she didn't have any problems with it as long as all the lots were over 2 acres. Like I said, each lot will have to provide their own soil survey, which will indicate, what type of septic tank they can use. I have not found any, in our survey so far, we have not found any indications of mines. Mines, though, are not unnormal in this area. I mean, a lot of Waukee is all under mines. So that's pretty typical of this area. Typically, if we find the access points to them, we can do some mediation of that, and we'll find that in a survey if it's exposed. But my guess is it's not exposed any longer. And then in terms of the floodplain, there is floodplain on the south side of this property, but we won't be messing with any of that. It's lowland. It's best.
And I'm assuming that's where most of the trees are at too. The lowland floodplain is where the trees are at, so my guess is a lot of
Most of that lower farmland is basically the area that's shown in the floodplain maps. We have reviewed floodplain maps, so none of the lots that we anticipate subdividing are going to be touched by floodplain.
Yep. Okay. I heard another concern about busing. I should know this, but I just don't. Is this Indianola School District or is this Carlisle School?
Indianola School District.
And has someone spoken with the school district on busing or not?
I have not, personally.
Okay.
Those details can certainly be ironed out with our pool and flat process and the final construction drawings. Those items typically come up through that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was just asking because I heard it today, so I thought I'd check. Okay.
Sure.
Those are all the questions I have. Chrysler, we'll get to you. Chrysler, Doug, do you have any questions?
Is there a pollution problem into the river? Did I hear that?
Yes, yes.
No, but we will be required to provide stormwater detention so that any impacts that we will have to the land, we will have to provide some sort of ponding area, detention pond, so that we are not increasing the flow to the river. And those will be designed during the construction process after the permit plat.
Thank you.
Lindsay,
Yes.
what is the process after this? If this is approved, we're just approving the rezoning, correct?
This would be
And
the
then-
rezoning to RR1, and then, so if the rezoning's approved to RR1, then you go through and then they would submit then they would start their platting process. Then there would be a preliminary plat, and that goes through to the board of the zoning commission, and then the zoning commission makes, you know, recommendations and changes on a preliminary plat or whatever. And then they bring a final plat forward to the zoning commission, and then the final plat gets brought to you as a board of supervisors, so that you don't see the preliminary. They bring everything through as the final. Everything gets worked out as a preliminary plat with the zoning commission, and then final plat comes through to zoning commission and board of supervisors.
And you said that the city of Spring Hill had not,
We had a
communicated back?
We had a phone call with Larry Anthony, and we sent him the plat, and then he was gonna take it to the city council, and then we never heard anything back. We've sent the notices to him and everything, and we haven't heard anything back. So same thing with the platting process, you know, he will be on notification. If this were to be approved, he would get same notification of that as well, so.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Is there something else, Scott?
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Maybe you can tell me this, Lindsay. Can you tell me what portion of the proposed rezoning is in the FPC, the floodplain conservation? Because I can't see from the documents I've been provided.
Yeah, if you.
Which one,
You
what
can
part of the document?
You can step over.
Thank you.
And look at the zoning map. Here's what they're running to rezone, and this little portion right here. This, do you see the line
Yep,
work splits?
I do.
That piece right here,
Down to the old
okay,
railroad.
this zoning right here, that color is A1. This green changes, that's floodplain conservation.
Okay.
This right here, those colors, that's 500-year and 100-year floodplain. So there's
Okay.
nothing in the 500-year or 100-year floodplain, and then there's just this little piece in the FPC.
So then that begs the question to me, why do they need to rezone that if they're telling us today they're not gonna touch those trees, they're not gonna do anything down in that area? I would make a friendly recommendation that you don't rezone the FPC. If you do agree to rezone the A1, at least, you know, I think floodplain and conservation is a zoning district for a reason, right? To conserve and to not flood out.
How much of it is? So we're talking about, how many acres is it total? What do we got there?
This is probably, well, this would be a 40, so I'm guessing probably
10 of the 40 on the bottom?
yeah, I'm guessing.
Brad, did you hear that?
I'm guessing we're looking at probably.
Are you showing that area that's south of the old railroad track? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah.
north and south of the track, just a little, I don't know, the track's the property line, isn't it?
I would, yeah.
It's probably 9 acres north of the railroad track that looks like it's in, what is it, 100-year floodplain?
This is floodplain, so it's all south. The floodplain's south. This is FPC, floodplain conservation. So there's none in the FEMA floodplain. None of the ground is in FEMA floodplain that you're wanting to rezone. It's just the portion that's in the FPC, floodplain and conservation zone, that they're wanting to, the neighbors have asked that you amend that out of your rezoning request. I'm guessing out of that 40-acre piece, I'm guessing probably about 10 of it falls in the FEMA floodplain that you haven't asked to rezone, so I'm guessing there's probably approximately about another 10 that's in the floodplain and conservation. So leave about a 20-acre piece there that's still ag zoned.
Well, it'd actually be about 10 acres less of what the proposal was, because they're not requesting to rezone that other 10 acres. Brad, are you following that?
I'm trying to pull it up in some of our emails here.
Well, earlier you made a statement about the southern part and the trees, and then we looked at it and it looked like the stuff from my take that's in the floodplain. You're not bringing forth a request to rezone that. The approximate
everything that's lower.
Yep, below the railroad tracks is floodplain, and
Yes.
no, that's not before us today at all.
That's not included. That's fine.
Yep, and we get that. North of the railroad, there looks like there's, I'm just guessing, 9 acres of FPC that I don't know what, I know that where we're at in this is that we don't have plats, but based on your earlier representation that you're not developing super south, the south portion that gets wet and that's full of trees, some of that 9 acres that's in the FPC.
It looks on your concept plan
Oh, you have
that
those.
you sent to us, Brad. It looks like lots 14 and 15
Might touch that.
might touch that.
No,
I'm still trying to pull that up. Hold on here.
I'm following. So there might be 2 lots that.
So it's kind of on the more,
And
is it
see
more
where
towards the
cul-de-sac
highway or
comes
towards
down
the eastern portion? Are you thinking?
What was that?
Is it more towards the east side of that then?
I'm just saying the FPC. Can he see? He can see. You can.
Can we hold this up there?
Yeah.
He's on his iPhone, so why don't
Oh,
you?
he's on his
Are
iPhone,
you-
he doesn't have a camera.
Yeah.
Um,
Brad, you're not viewing the meeting, are you? You're just on your iPhone.
No, I can view it. I
Oh,
can
there
see
you go.
it.
Okay, very good.
yeah,
I certainly can.
yeah, so we can show him that.
Well, let's get low. I gotta see what I'm doing.
Can you see that piece right here? Can you,
Yeah, that would be a pretty significant impact to remove that from our rezoning.
okay,
Because that's gonna catch 1 or 2.
But we'd certainly like to leave that in our request. Anything south of that railroad, I think would be fine, but
It was posed, so I thought I'd see what your thoughts were on it.
okay. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you for that.
you betcha.
I have one more question.
Okay, we'll take another question. Yep.
Okay, so again, my name is John Mayer, I live on that property, and, the question I wanted to ask is in general how this works. And, I have seen in the past, living in town, where they rezoned from R1 to RC, residential commercial, with the proposal that they're gonna build these small huts, and this is what they're, for a retirement center. And then as soon as they got rezoned, they resold the property and they came in to build apartments. So what's to say that we're rezoning this under the pretext of what it is that they're proposing they're gonna build, but then once we rezone this, they can come in and build whatever they want. They can do 52-acre lots if they wanted then, because it's been rezoned. So what,
Oh, please, no,
I mean,
no.
right, once it's been rezoned and they own the property, they could sell it to anybody and they could come in and do whatever. Is that correct? That's what I'm asking.
It'd have to be in compliance with whatever the
With the
zoning,
RR1.
with the RR1 and whatever.
But if you've already
regulations.
rezoned it RR1 against what they're saying they're gonna do a nice little thing, and then it's rezoned RR1, then they can turn around and resell the property, and the next guy can come in and do 52-acre lots if he wishes to. Is that correct?
Our intent is to submit something very soon, if this is approved today, that will be a preliminary plat that will show you exactly how it is to be developed. Yes, you are correct, it could be sold to somebody else, they would still have to comply with the lot areas for septic, which would be required to be 2 acres.
Right.
But
Okay.
that's not our intention is to move forward with
Oh
development.
my gosh. Please, God, no.
Thank you for that, appreciate that.
You bet. What's that? Do we have a motion to close the public meeting portion?
And I got something to say too.
This is Doug, I would move.
Hold on, Doug,
that we
hold on.
close-
Hold on, Doug. We got a neighbor. I'm gonna give her an opportunity. Go ahead, ma'am.
Before you close, I've been counting, from Dick Pool's house, and I think there's like 8 entrances, or 9, I'm not sure, entrances to that highway. And those, I'm counting the 2 entrances that they just made, going into that highway. And the people that fly over that hill going south, they will not be able to stop. We are actually afraid pulling out of Gear Street. I look and he looks, nothing's coming, hurry. We gotta get out before they get over that hill or they will run into us, they have no choice. That's just a fact, that is a fact.
All right. Doug, you have a motion on the floor to leave public meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Chris?
DeCook,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
McIntyre,
Aye.
Okay, we're out of public session. Do we have a motion on the request to rezone this parcel from A1 and FPC to RR1?
This is Doug, I would move that we rezone, we're accepting the application to go from, A1 to RR1. I would move that for this property,
do you
plan
wanna,
concepts.
do you wanna waive second and third readings?
I would waive the second and third readings.
Crystal, do we have a second or no?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna second the motion.
Okay, DeCook,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
McIntyre,
Nay.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You bet. All right, number 4, public hearing regarding rezoning application submitted by Lance and Valerie Short for certain lands within Warren County from A1 Agricultural District to M1 Light Industrial District located at 6049 R57 Highway, Indianola, Iowa 50125 with possible action.
okay.
Do we have let's first go into
I
public.
would move that we go to a public hearing submitted by rezoning application submitted by Lance and Valerie Short from A1 to M1.
Second.
DeCook,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
McIntyre,
Aye.
All right, we're now in public hearing. Lindsay.
Lance and Valerie Short own a 6.44 acre parcel on the corner of G24 and R57 highway. They have a building that they want to rezone to store their equipment and supplies for their concrete cutting business, Short's Concrete Cutting. Short's Concrete Cutting, that's the name of their business. I'm just gonna touch on some of the facts of finding. There's commercial across the road, commercial zoning, for auto repair across the road from their proposed, rezoning. It is on the corner with highway access, to two highways, R57 and G24 highway. The land use plan does call for A1, but of course, the zoning ordinance, they came in, they were wanting to build a building. We talked to them, they've ran their business out of their home since 2008. We've never heard any complaints. They're over by the Pearl area. We actually didn't even know they had a business at their property out in the rural area. We talked to them about rezoning to M1 for their business. So that is why they are actually in front of you. They went ahead with the rezoning. The zoning commission teetered on the line whether they really needed to be there, but again, felt that it actually was, it did fall under the M1, and we did the right thing by asking them to come in and apply and ask for permission before, then forgiveness later. So that is why the Shorts are here. Like I said, we've never ever had any complaints. They are wanting to keep their construction vehicles inside. They have a current septic system through environmental health. They actually have two, one for their wash bay and one for the actual restrooms in their facility. The Shorts owns Short's Concrete, would like to rezone that 6.44 acre piece to M1 light industrial to store their equipment inside the building at this location that's on the corner. The land use plan calls for A1. It was completed in 2000. That plan was completed in 2002. There's not in any city's urban service area, and it's in Spring Hill's 2-mile review, and they do not review. We recommend hearing all sides and feel that when we look at M1, we look at it to put it on paved roads, this is on the corner of two. Could restrict if approved, but then we get into restrictions, and then one of the restrictions that comes forward a lot is a sunset, and the zoning commission did recommend a 4-0 approval of this with the sunset clause, and just fine. But then the sunset clause, a lot of those times the sunset clause is usually a death, and obviously with not newspapers really anymore, who really tracks deaths, and who knows to contact the zoning office and say so and so doesn't own this anymore. And so Dawn and Carrie and I had a discussion the other day, who really, how do we really track some of these sunsets that are getting put on some of these rezonings? It's going to get harder and harder to track some of that, just a thought. So we did not prepare a document with a sunset, because we know sometimes rezoning has come to you as a board, and you've gone with the approval of the zoning commission, and you've not gone with the approval, and you've not put restrictions, and you've done restrictions. So we didn't prepare any documents for that. There were some neighbors' concerns, and the main concern was they were just concerned about what would happen to the property should something happen to the Shorts. So with that being said, I think you're prepared to open the meeting up to the public. So, and I think the Shorts are on Yes.
Can you hear me? This is Val Short.
Yes.
Okay, I was just making sure I was connected.
Are you ready for Val to start? Val, you can go ahead and make a little presentation if you'd like to add anything.
Did they go to a public hearing?
Oh,
Yeah, so,
We did.
yeah, they did.
Okay, sorry.
Yep, you're good to go, Val.
okay, well, you know, Cindy, you've, explained how we're gonna use that building perfectly. I just wanted to be clear on one thing, there is gonna be some stuff sitting outside. I mean, there's not gonna be junk, we have trailers, semis. So, I mean, I just didn't want it to be put in there that it's all gonna be stored inside. At all times. 'Cause we have quite a bit of equipment, you know, and it will sit outside, so.
Thanks for clarifying that.
What's that, I'm sorry?
Thank you for clarifying that.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I just didn't wanna get complaints, people like, oh, well, there's stuff sitting outside.
The
We have a dozer, an excavator, you know, it's, especially through the winter, it's gonna be, we're gonna have to put some of that stuff outside, because the most important thing to our business through the winter is keeping our water tanks unthawed and all the pumps that are running thawed, so.
what we've heard so far from that property is how nice the building looks and how it fits in well on that corner. So we've heard a lot of good things about that so far. So, but thank you for clarifying, and it is good to know what you have to keep inside over the winter to keep it from freezing, so thank you.
No problem. And I can take questions that anybody else has.
What was the zoning came in at? What was the
4 to
recommend?
0. 4 to 0 to recommend approval with a sunset clause.
6.44 acres.
Yes.
And what's the sunset clause again? I didn't quite track that. How
Like
long?
if
If they move or sell it.
sell it or something happens to them or
Okay.
they no longer own the property.
Perfect. I will just add in public comment that I don't always take that route, but frequently I do. And I gotta watch the building from start to finish, and it's a beautiful structure. So whoever built it did a nice job, or whoever the contractor was or subs, they did a nice job.
I don't see them.
Yeah.
I've got some.
We have some good Amish friends that do some good work for us.
Does not surprise me.
Is there any other public on for this hearing? Okay.
Is there anyone in the room from the public who would like to speak on this matter? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to exit public hearing?
I would move that we go back to the regular session.
Second.
DeCook?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
McIntyre?
Aye.
All right, we're in regular session. Do we have a motion on this matter?
I would move that we rezone for Lance and Valerie Short from A1 to M1.
Second.
Motion.
No, do you wanna waive second and third readings?
I would waive the second and third readings.
I'll accept that amendment.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
DeCook?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations. All right, number 5. Closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.5, parens A, 1A, to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential or to be kept confidential as a condition for that governmental body's possession or continued receipt of federal funds. Consider appeal on general assistance notice of decision with possible action. Do we have a motion for closed session?
I would move agenda item be moved to closed session.
Second.
Motion and a second?
DeCook,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
McIntyre.